Well, this wasn't an intended video. This was going to be part 2 of the Realistic DX160, and we're going to be doing the alignment of the DX160, all 39 points, which will probably take an hour. It's going to be an interesting long video for people to be bored over. But this is part 1A, because when I opened up the service manual, it says, as part of the equipment, signal generator 150 kHz to 30 megs, IEC dummy antenna, vacuum tube voltmeter and oscilloscope. That's all fine. Now, I've only been doing this for 39 years, and I didn't know about an IEC dummy antenna, and I don't know whether you can see that circuit. I don't, and because I'm on my own, it's difficult to do much with the camera. Well, that's better. Oh, there we go. You can just about see that. So what we have, we've got a metal box, BNC I'm going to put on one end, BNC on the other, 30 ohm resistor, 125 picofarad capacitor, or whatever is the European nearest, 20 microhenry choke, 320 ohm resistor, a 400 picofarad capacitor. And looking at what we're doing there is, they are assuming this is going to be on a long wire antenna, and if we were using a standard signal generator, then it would be expecting a 50 ohm load, whereas this radio is expecting a notional 400 ohm load, and that's what this is doing. So it's kind of matching what the signal generator is expecting to a long wire antenna equivalent. So I'm doing this as a separate video because there may be those of you out there who need to make an IEC dummy antenna. I don't know whether this crops up in other Realistic or other service manuals, and of course the people who were making this were making the trio receivers, which were Kenwood at the time as well, so it might crop up in there. So I thought it would be a useful video to do on building an IEC dummy antenna. So with the circuit diagram handily in there, we had a delivery of parts yesterday. I don't use RS for everything, but when I want things in a reasonable hurry, BNC, expensive capacitors, which is silver mica, more expensive capacitors with silver, and some expensive chokes, and a little tiny box to put it in. I was going to go one size up on the box, but it was out of stock, and I need to get on with it because I want this thing aligned and working for tomorrow. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill the holes, because all we're going to do is to mount this between the two. We don't need any printed circuits or tag strip, just mount it between the two sockets. I'm sure we can just about cram that in the box. So I'll get going and we'll put the camera on from time to time. So now we've got as far as mounting the two sockets, and we've dug out the resistors. Now I haven't got 320 ohms, so we've got two 160s which are going to be put in series. So I want to make it as accurate as they say, so I've got the best possible results. So we'll put a few more parts in and we'll come back to the camera. Okay, there we have it. Just 10 minutes to do. So we're going in at this end. We've got the 30 ohm resistor going to the 125 picofarad capacitor, which goes to one end of the 20 microhenry choke that goes to the output, and then also across the choke we've got 320 ohms, which 260s in series, and going to our 400 picofarad capacitor, and that's it. So it's only a workshop thing. It doesn't need to be done on tag strip or anything. It doesn't need any sleeving because it isn't going to get thrown around. So simple and relatively cheap. Those capacitors weren't cheap to come by. So we have to put the lid on that and test it out. And there we have it. I'm going to label it up, and then we'll just have one more shot of it. Okay, so there we have it labelled up. IEC Dummy Antenna, there's the out, there's the in, and what we're going to do now, we'll just connect it up to the radio, and we'll do this as a separate video, and then if somebody needs to make one of these, then they've had that information, and whereas people who may want to just align their Realistic DX160 can skip this video and go on to part 3, which is the alignment. And so there we have it ready to start the alignment. We're connected the single generator into the IEC dummy antenna, and then a longer than we needed lead, because it happened to be handy, to go into the back of the radio. Now the radio we're working on, somebody's put an SO239 instead of the screw connectors, and I will just look into that to make sure they haven't messed up the way the resistors and links are before we start aligning. So we'll conclude this video at that. The idea was to show people how to do the IEC dummy antenna to do these kind of radios, and I hope that's been helpful to people. Thank you for watching.